Hey, I'm Plus Infinite, and today is my 3-year anniversary on YouTube. Let's check it out. Today will be a little bit of a different type of video, but I'll still be talking about Super Quants. I've got some info about a giveaway I'd like to do, and a surprise at the end that you won't want to miss. So be sure to watch the whole video to the end. Now let's get started. It's hard to believe it's been 3 years since I posted my first video on this channel. Back then, I really didn't know how many other Super Quant fans were out there. I thought it's such an old and forgotten archetype that there's just not many people who would be into it. Boy, was I surprised when I found out about the Super Quant Archetype Discord. Some people think that server is mine, but actually it belongs to a longtime Super Quant fan named Bob. I'm not the owner, or an admin, or even a moderator. I'm just another Super Quant fan like you. It might be easy to think that just because I make Super Quant YouTube videos, I know it all, but I really don't. There have been so many times when other members of the Super Quant community have taught me something I never knew. And by the way, I'm not the only person making Super Quant videos on YouTube. There are at least 2 other Super Quant superfans I know of, LavenderLab and Beast Mode B, that make Super Quant content. And I know of at least one YouTuber in the OCG who's making Japanese Super Quant videos. And I'll admit, I've learned something from each and every one of them. This community never ceases to amaze me, and I'm so lucky to be a part of it. It's really awesome to see how many open-minded, creative folks are in this community. You don't always get that with Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes. Oftentimes, a Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype will fall into a very specific category with quote-unquote optimal builds that are very strict and with very little room for creativity. I'm looking at you, purely. But aside from its wonderful community, I just love Super Quants in general. For me, it's this perfect mixture of the best parts of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Power Rangers. I haven't really talked about my love for these two things on this channel before, so I guess now I'd like to take the time to do that. Back when I was 3 years old, I remember sitting around in Red Ranger pajamas watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on TV. It would have been somewhere around the peak of its popularity during the 2nd season of Mighty Morphin. I remember watching faithfully all the way through Mighty Morphin and Zeo, up to Turbo, In Space, Lost Galaxy, and even Lightspeed Rescue. After Lightspeed Rescue ended and Time Force began, I started becoming fascinated with a different kind of toy, Bionicle, and I have quite the Bionicle collection to this day. Even though I had moved on from the toys, I was still watching Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, and even SPD. But by the time Power Rangers started Mystic Force, I completely lost interest. I didn't come back to the series until one day when walking around San Diego Comic-Con, I noticed the cast of the next season of Power Rangers would be featured at one of the booths. Intrigued, I went over and stood in line. After meeting the cast of Dino Charge and seeing their enthusiasm and passion for what they do, I fell in love. Dino Charge is now my favorite season of Power Rangers, even beating out Mighty Morphin and all the greats that came before it. There's something magical about the cast in that show. And if you ask me, I think it's that the Red Ranger and Blue Ranger were both die-hard fans themselves, and brought that to the show. After watching Dino Charge, I was reminded why I love this silly, cheesy, goofy kids show. Behind its childish exterior, there's something honest and sincere I love about this franchise. I like that Power Rangers isn't afraid to be over the top and in your face about its ideals and its message. That of teamwork, friendship, doing the right thing, taking a stand against things that are wrong, and overcoming all odds in a flashy, action-packed spectacle. I guess I should also talk about the fact that Power Rangers is more or less a dead series now, with what appears to be the final season having aired 2 years ago, and with rumors of the ending of Super Sentai being upon us. I worry that this might finally become a relic of the past. But rather than let go and move on from this series that I'm so passionate about, I've decided to use Super Quants as a way for me to keep the dream alive and live out my Power Rangers fantasy. You see, there's something special about Super Quants that you can't find in any form of Power Rangers media. Every episode of Power Rangers features a very predictable formula of progression. You go from a colorful team of Power Rangers on the ground to a colorful set of mechs, and then they all combine into one giant mech. And yet, so far, I have not yet once been able to experience one form of Power Rangers media that can deliver that exact progression in a span of about 20 minutes. Even the Power Rangers deck building card game isn't designed to give you this exact fantasy. The card game is designed to focus on a specific ranger and their Zord, but that's not the same as having a team of rangers that all get into their own mechs and then combine into the Megazord. The closest thing I've seen is the Power Rangers tabletop RPG. I haven't been able to play that, but I can only imagine that in a span of 20 minutes, you would not be able to get through the progression of being a Ranger, and then a Zord, and then a Megazord. That just isn't a thing that's gonna happen in 20 minutes. But Super Quants in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is exactly that. You go from being small Power Rangers to being mechs to being a Megazord, and then you win the game. It's fantastic. I love that Super Quants has such a great boss monster that you can actually win just by making the Megazord. I know they didn't print the words, "you win the game," but if you've played Super Quants at all, you know what I'm talking about. Just making Magnus is enough to win the game. And that's a feeling I haven't felt in any other form of Power Rangers media. If it was just about taking giant robots and then making an even bigger giant robot, I could play ABC XYZ Archetype and still have fun. What's special about Super Quants, though, is that you actually get the full, colorful team of heroes, and there's actual gameplay mechanics that allow them to pilot their mech. And even Magnus himself is only as powerful as it is when it has 4 or more materials. That's 3 mechs and at least 1 pilot. It's perfectly designed to be a Power Rangers power fantasy. Maybe it's just me who cares this much about this exact progression, but I'm pretty sure that this is what makes Power Rangers and Super Sentai unique compared to other tokusatsu franchises. Whenever you see somebody copy this exact formula, it's not a generic tokusatsu reference, it's not even a Voltron reference, it's a Power Rangers reference. Speaking of, let's talk about Fortnite for a second. Fortnite had its own Power Rangers reference in the form of the mech team leader, a thing that has even received a Lego set before a Power Rangers Lego set, which by the way was just confirmed recently. But I'm getting off topic here. Fortnite just recently did a Power Rangers crossover, featuring a really awesome trailer where they actually filmed actors in suits doing action just like they would in the show. I love that. And the crossover was given so much love. When you get into the Megazord and you go from being this tiny foot soldier on the ground to being this giant monstrosity fighting up against a behemoth, that is just so perfectly Power Rangers. And even just something as simple as the camera moving around from where you were on the ground to where you are as the Megazord is just so incredibly important to the power fantasy. That is the first time I've been able to experience the power fantasy of being in a Megazord. And although I didn't get the chance to do it myself, apparently, if you had a team, you could all pilot a different part of the Megazord. How cool is that? But see, even if it was missing a step, they get it. Simple little details like this show that Power Rangers as a franchise is in the wrong hands. Nobody gets that this is what makes Power Rangers special, that power fantasy. On the other hand, as for Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm a little older, so my first experience with Yu-Gi-Oh! Was when the first cards released. It was a Wild West back then, and nobody knew what they were doing. In those early days, there weren't really any archetypes like there are today. You would just slap a bunch of staples together. If it was a good card, it was limited, and it was played in every deck. Things like Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, Monster Reborn, and Regeki. This led to games being decided on who could draw the best Saki one-ofs, and who could beat down their opponent's life points with powerful monsters first. Things like Exodia and the Egyptian god cards left me to fantasize about what it would be like if I could win using a powerful monster like that. But being the little kid that I was, I couldn't afford all the really powerful cards, so I had to get a little creative. I remember some of my earliest decks involved using cheap burn damage cards and walling up behind powerful floodgates that would prevent my opponents from attacking me. This burn stall type combination was very frustrating for other players, but I just wanted to play in a fun and interesting way. And beating my opponent down just because I had powerful and expensive cards didn't seem like much fun. See, I watched the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Even though the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Duelist Kingdom anime are dubious at best, it was very clear that Yugi was going up against people who were literally cheating. This uphill battle against all odds to win against people like that inspired me. Through a little luck and clever problem solving, Yugi would find his way out of literally impossible odds, fighting against actual god cards and winning. So even back then, I was looking to win in a creative and unexpected way. I took a break in the early Synchro era, when Stardust Dragon and Red Dragon Archfiend were going around. Many years went by, and I didn't even think about coming back to Yu-Gi-Oh! In my mind, it had become too complex and hard to keep up with, and all the memes of overly complicated, really long card text was definitely not piquing my interest. It wasn't until I made a new friend named rafalethedragon. You can guess what his favorite archetype is. Knowing I was interested in Power Rangers, he told me about a particular Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype that might be of interest to me. Little did he know that that humble suggestion would lead to 3 wonderful years of my life. If you're watching this, and I know you are, thanks again, Raph. None of this would have existed without you. This channel has been really special to me. It's been a way for me to connect with other Super Quant fans. It's been a way for me to find my creative voice. If you can't tell by my videos, I've really enjoyed making all the different Super Quant content I do, and it's given me a lot of value and purpose in my life. If Super Quants was only about playing one specific way and getting one particular win condition, and no other form of creativity was allowed or encouraged, then I think that I would have finished playing Super Quants a long time ago. The reason why I still play Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because of Super Quants. And the reason I still play Super Quants is because there is an endless amount of creativity. If you've watched my Ultimate Guide or heard people talk in the community about Super Quants, you'll find that there is no one specific way to play Super Quants. Even combining the best archetypes today with Super Quants, there is no clear winner. I mean, thinking about the time that we're in right now, Justice Hunter's format gave us K9, Yummy, and Mitsurugi as the top leaders in the format. All 3 of those archetypes can be combined with Super Quants. K9's pretty obvious, but if you haven't seen a Yummy or a Mitsu Super Quant build, definitely check out the Discord. Or you can DM me and I'll give you my thoughts. But I love the creativity of Super Quant fans, and I love that it perfectly encapsulates the Power Rangers franchise overall. Because just like Power Rangers' many different seasons, you can take Super Quants and mash it up with anything. It's so perfect. I love this archetype, and I'm so glad I get to connect with you all. Over the last few years, I've been able to connect with a few fans, both online and in person, surprisingly. One of my favorite memories is being a part of the Cross Archetype Discord Tournament, or CADT for short. This is an online tournament where Archetype servers get together and gather up a team of representative players, and over the course of several weeks, square off against each other to decide who's the best. For the last 3 years, I've been lucky enough to be a member of the team, and although we haven't done that well in previous tournaments, enough that warranted me talking about it, we do have some great memories. In fact, our new support was announced during one of the matches for our most recent CADT-style tournament. So this tournament that's going on right now is the one that we get to be full power, with all our new support and our many new builds. I hope I get the chance to talk about that in the future. If you want to follow along with our performance each week in CADT this year, I'll leave a link in the description below. One of my other favorite memories on this channel is when I got a special gift from one very generous fan. What was the gift? Here, let me show you. What you're looking at is an incredible 11-inch acrylic display of Magnus. This truly massive gift was given to me by Discord username Unit. I only wish that I could help everybody else out there who wants one of these to have one, but unfortunately Unit no longer has the ability to make any more, making this a truly one-of-a-kind special gift. Thank you so much. And if that wasn't already awesome enough, Unit also gave me this adorable little 3.5-inch acrylic display for Magnus, which I make sure to pull out every single time I summon him at locals. By the way, you might have also noticed my humble Magnus collection. I wouldn't consider it complete yet, but I do have quite a few of them. Of course, the secret and ultra rare of the English release, but also the Italian, German, and French releases, as well as the Japanese secret and the Europrint Ultra. I also managed to get my hands on some of the more recent Asian English imports, including the new Ultimate Rare and OCG Prismatic Secret Rare, which comes in a standard version and a special numbered version. In general, I am deeply jealous of all the amazing Super Quant reprints that the Asian English region has. I wish I could use them in the TCG. The ones I'm still currently missing are the Portuguese and Spanish secret and ultra rare releases, as well as the Korean secret rare and the simplified Chinese ones, which were recently a part of the Duelist Advance release over there. Oh, and there's also a common print of Magnus from Japan in a tournament pack from 2019. And aside from the proxies, I think that's it. While I'm at it, I'm also looking for the secret rare Asian English Magna Liger, Black Layer, and Zaytan. But I expect those will be hard to come by. If you have any of these or know how to get them, please DM me in Discord because I would love to get my hands on them. There's never been a better time to be a Super Quant fan. As I mentioned, now that we're in Justice Hunters format, both Yummy and Mitsurugi can be played with Super Quants, and both have bridges. Also, I just recently realized that Fiendsmith has a bridge into Super Quants by way of making a rank 4. It's not the best line, but if you're interested, check the Discord. And of course, we have a brand new format to play Super Quants in, Genesis. And if you look over the Genesis list, not a single Super Quant card is pointed. The closest thing is Emergency Teleport, which has recently gone down to 35. Although you can't play it at 3 in Genesis, you can still substitute it with Minimalian, which is also free. Aside from that one card, you can build pretty much any version of Super Quants you want. People have been asking me for a Genesis guide, but it might be some time. In the meantime, I recommend checking out LavenderLab, since they have 2 Super Quant Genesis videos up right now. Otherwise, you can check in the Discord since we have a new Genesis channel. In fact, one of the players in the Genesis channel has been reporting that they are topping the ladder with pure Super Quants in Genesis on Dueling Book. I think that's unbelievable. Oh, and my other friend and fellow Super Quant YouTuber, Beast Mode B, apparently got top 4 at an online Genesis tournament. Meanwhile, in Master Duel, as I'm sure you've already noticed, we finally have access to the new support. And in just the short amount of time we've had with the new support, I was able to find one OCG player who was able to get to Master 1 with Super Quants already. Their match on the ladder even got featured on one of the top Master Duel players' channels. Not only that, but apparently they've been doing this since even before the support, which is pretty incredible considering that I remember promising in a previous video that I would get there one day. Boy, I sure don't have enough time to do things like that. But I love seeing other people do it, because it just proves how good this deck is. If you go into the Discord server, one of the channels, Mission Report, is dedicated to talking about your performance at tournaments. And over again, I find both existing and new players getting real good success with the deck in many different forms, going completely undefeated 4-0, 5-0, and so on against some of the top meta decks. It's incredible. And on top of all of that, Super Quants has finally gotten another top and a regional. Player King of Flames managed to get 9th place with Super Quants. And not only that, but he openly admitted he wasn't even really trying to make Magnus. How incredible is that? With all this said, I think it's time I talk about that giveaway I mentioned. Earlier, I said there was a giveaway, but actually, I have a few giveaways I want to do. The first is a free giveaway. I'll be giving away 4 really shiny Magnuses, 1 Asian English OCG Prismatic Secret Rare Magnus, and 3 Asian English OCG Ultimate Rare Magnuses. You can't use them in official tournaments, but I'm sure they'll make a nice display, or maybe you can use them at your locals. All you have to do to win one of these is to leave a comment with the secret code I've left somewhere in this video. If you do that, I'll enter you into a drawing. Then on December 3rd, I'll randomly choose the lucky winners. The other giveaway I'm gonna do, you're gonna have to work hard for. You see, I believe if King of Flames could get 9th place without even trying to make the Megazord, then I think that's a message to all of us that we can do even better. So, to help inspire all of you out there to make this dream a reality, I'm offering up a very special prize pack. The first person to get top 8 or higher with Super Quants at an official Konami Regional, YCS, or WCQ event will receive the following prize pack from me. And all I ask in return is that you give me a quick shout out in your video to let me know you want it. Here are the prizes. 1 Asian English OCG Prismatic Secret Rare Special Number Magnus, and a matching Asian English OCG Prismatic Secret Rare Special Number Alphen. 1 Premium Stitched Edges Boss Max Mat featuring Magnus and Zeus, the last one I have available. 1 Super Quant Field Center, also the last one I have. and 1 pack of 15 extra deck ready Alphen sleeves. But if you're able to get first place before any of this is given away, I'll give you all of this and 1 each of every single type of Magnus I own. This is my way of saying thanks, and I hope that those of you who get these things will enjoy them. And if all that wasn't enough, there's one last thing I want to give away. And for this one, you don't have to do anything except click the link in the description, because I want to give away free art for you to use to make your own mat and your own sleeves. If you want to go out there and make a mat and sleeves for yourself for Super Quants, be my guest. And if you want to go out there and make a bunch of them and try and sell them to other Super Quant fans, please let me know. I'd be happy to direct people to your shop, since I don't want to have to do that. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Super Quants has been a great way for me to explore my creativity through deck building and puzzle solving as I play. But regrettably, I don't have the kind of time that I want to dedicate to this game anymore. Don't worry, I'm not trying to say that I'm going to stop making videos, but I do think it's time that I be realistic about my time and expectations of myself on this channel. I'm getting kind of old, and there's something else that's been eating away at me in the back of my mind. Something else that I'm passionate about that I want to talk about on YouTube. And right now, for me, that's creativity in general. I love creativity. And as much as you think I'm passionate about Super Quants, there's a part of me that's been dying to become as passionate about creativity as I am about this. And so I've decided to start a new journey, and I'd like to invite you to come along with me. This is my new YouTube channel. It's called Create Anything Today. My goal is to make people feel inspired by exploring different forms of creativity. Whether you have experience with some form of creativity or not, I want to invite all to explore their creative voice. And that's what I plan to do on this channel. My hope is that one day I'll be able to create a video about every form of creativity out there and explore it myself while inviting you to come along with me. If that sounds like something for you, then I'd love for you to subscribe to my new channel. I've only got one video up there right now, but another is on the way very soon. Thank you so much again for following me, for commenting, for watching my videos. These things that I create, they're just a part of me. It's a part of me that wants to share goodness, to share love, to share inspiration. I want to inspire people. I want people to feel joy. And that's what I want to do with you in whatever I do. But for now, I want to end this video out by sharing something special. I said there was a surprise if you watched all the way to the end. If you're a Super Quant fan, I think you'll enjoy this. What you're about to hear is a Super Quant themed story written by a very special writer, the same person who started this journey all those years back. I've commissioned rafalethedragon to write a story about Super Quants, and you're gonna hear me perform all the audio. I hope you'll enjoy. If you like the story and you're interested in commissioning something yourself, I've got Raf's contact information here on the screen, and it will be after the story as well. I hope you'll reach out to him and commission a story of your own. For those who do, one lucky person is going to get an audio recording just like this one from me, as a way for me to show my support for him. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I present to you Layer 21, Clash with the Dark Ones and the Power of Friendship by rafalethedragon. In the cold, dark depths of space, Alphen listened to the radio comms of the world that the Magna Carrier orbited and slowly shook his head in dismay. Not again! Ay, 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 ay! He tapped the buttons on the console in front of him, one each of green, blue, red, and white. Several reports show that a warrior in black has been terrorizing the city! Blue Layer sighed. Is it them again? Green Layer shared her exasperation. These guys just don't know when to quit.
That just means we have to teach them a lesson again,
Red Layer said confidently. Alphen continued to listen, but heard no further response. White Layer! Come in, White Layer! The comms remained eerily silent. Ooh, I don't like sending you three up against those guys alone, but it sounds like we might not have a choice this time. You three go ahead, and I'll continue to try to contact our mutual friend.
You got it, Alphen,
Red Layer responded.
Come on, guys, it's quantum time!
In a flash, they were transported to the planet's surface, suited up, and right on the scene. Before them were two figures, both swathed in black metal and surrounded by a menacing aura.
Blacklayer and Zaytan!
The red-armored warrior shouted as he clenched his fists and bared his clawed gauntlets.
I knew it was you two. Up to no good as always, I see. Coercing snacks from the locals again?
The mysterious yet somehow familiar soldier before them laughed.
The famous Super Quants layers, here to submit to our superior powers at last.
He shook his head.
And it's not about the snacks, it's about respect.
The green spellcaster raised his hands and surrounded himself with magic as he prepared for combat.
In your dreams, creep. We're here to defeat you, just like we did last time.
The blue psychic raised her hands as she joined her comrades in preparation for battle. Careful, I can feel a great anger rising within him. You shouldn't have mentioned the last time.
Fools!
The black-armored man before them shouted as he cracked his knuckles.
Last time you had your leader to save you. This time you won't be so lucky. Are you saying I can't be a good leader? Hi-ya!
Redlayer roared as he charged ahead in a full sprint. His two allies followed as swiftly as they could, but they were all quickly dispatched by Blacklayer's crystals, which orbited back to his side, now with each of their colors embedded into them.
What? I feel like my strength has been completely taken away. How perceptive of you.
Blacklayer chimed in as he chuckled maniacally.
If you only knew what comes next. Zaytan and I came up with a truly diabolical plan for you, Layers. You're all going to be destroyed by your own mech beasts.
What?
Greenlayer slowly climbed up onto his feet as he tried to recover.
But that's impossible without Alphen, and he's busy right now.
Busy trying to reach our inconvenienced white layer, I assume? Ha! I'm well aware.
Zaytan, who was previously silent, chuckled as he hopped forward and wagged his bladed tail.
I made sure he would be late to our party personally.
Blue Layer tried to use her psychic powers, but winced from the strain.
What did you two do?
Zaytan chuckled mischievously as his voice switched to a recording.
Oh, please, Mr. Whitelayer, you must help me. I lost my cat down this dark alley.
He doubled over and barely stammered out between fits of laughter.
He never expected the interdimensional matter transporter.
He wiped his eyes dramatically and smiled at them.
But don't worry, he will show up to save the day as always. He'll just be too late.
Blacklayer tapped his foot impatiently.
Zaytan, it's time.
The robotic bunny snickered and switched to playback mode once more and greeted the Layers with a familiar voice, much to their dismay.
Right away, Layers. Mech Beast authorization begin.
Redlayer looked to his companions and readied himself, even as drained as he was, determined to fight.
We have to stop him, no matter what.
Right,
the others said in unison. But before they could even move, Blacklayer went on the offensive and slashed the spellcaster with the blade mounted on his blaster. Roundhouse kicked the psychic off her feet and blasted the warrior with a spark of lightning on his firearm.
You're no match for my power blaster and my superior martial arts skills,
he said as he looked down at their defeated forms.
You need your mech beasts to stand a chance, but now they will belong to us.
Zaytan continued as he cycled through recordings of Red Layer, Green Layer, and Blue Layer in sequence.
Pounce through flames, Magna Liger!
Soar the skies, Ouroboros. Ride the waves, Grampulse.
Aboard the Magna carrier, Alphen continued his attempts to contact White Layer, but to no avail.
I don't understand. He should be able to hear me almost a galaxy away on this channel.
With a sigh, he rested his head on his paws and gently closed his eyes. Yet not even seconds had passed before alarms went off through the ship.
Huh?
The ship's automated speaker called out.
Authorization accepted. Clear launching paths. Mech beasts deploying.
But I never... What's going on? What should I do? Ay!
Back on the ground, Zaytan raised his paws to the sky triumphantly and shouted as the clouds parted around the mech beasts as they descended to the planet's surface.
At last, the Leia's mech beasts belong to us!
They crashed behind the two robed in black, and the metal beasts gleamed brilliantly in the light of the planet's sun. Yet not all of them remained still. The Magna Liger raised a forepaw, smashed the ground, and sent Blacklayer and Zaytan both flying backwards.
What? Who?
Through the Liger's speaker, a voice called to them happily.
Greetings, Layers. I have come to assist you personally.
Zaytan growled.
You will pay for this, Alphen!
He pointed to Blacklayer and then to the other mech beasts.
You, pilot a mech beast before we lose control of this situation!
Blacklayer nodded and quickly sprinted towards the large machines. Alphen hopped clear over his head, down from the mech beast's cockpit, and ran to his friends.
Here, everyone, power up,
he said as he presented his paw to them. They sluggishly gave him a high five, and each one had their power restored. Zaytan laughed.
Ha! You let the Magna-Liger for that? Your puny friends couldn't defeat my lair without a mech beast, and now he's going to take one of yours. You should have stayed in that beast if you wanted a small chance at victory. You failed your lairs, Alphen. Now the mighty Magna-Liger is ours.
Alphen shook his head and chuckled softly.
You couldn't be more wrong, Zaytan. My friends are far more important, and even if I lose, I'll be glad it was by their side. What? That doesn't make any sense. Blacklair, use the Magna-Liger to teach them a lesson. That's what it means to have friends. You support them no matter what. I suppose it isn't all that different from how you support Blacklair, is it? But I hate losing!
Zaytan screamed as he stomped his paws and thrashed his metal tail. At his command, the Magna-Liger stepped forward and looked down at the targets and raised its paw to crush them.
Alphen is right,
Green Layer said as he took a stand. Blue Layer joined him. You think the mech beasts make all the difference? Red Layer stood in front of them all and looked directly at the enemy Quantal Fairy.
But you're wrong. Friends do.
Zaytan scoffed.
Your lame friendship speech won't save you.
Just before the paw of Magna-Liger came down and crushed them, a barrier formed from 3 crystals stopped it. Then they darted forth and knocked its other front paw out from under itself, bringing the massive machine down on its belly.
Oh yeah!
Echoed from the sky, and White Layer descended at last. His leg delivered a kick to the mech beast's head, and it toppled over from the mighty blow. He flipped back from the recoil and landed beside his friends before he assumed a combative stance. He glanced back at them,
Sorry I'm late, guys.
then looked to their opponents and added,
I've got a score to settle with you two.
Suddenly, the black-furred bunny did not seem as confident as before, and stammered nervously.
Although he might save you.
He balled up his fists and bounced angrily.
Blacklair, do something, you buffoon!
Inside the cockpit, Black Layer growled as he saw the energy within one of his crystals fade away.
I still have 2 charges left. You haven't defeated me yet.
Alphen pointed at the machine right in front of them as he surrounded his body with an indestructible energy shield and instructed his friends.
We need to defeat him before he recovers. Lairs, on me!
Super!
Green shouted as he used his arms to launch Alphen towards the others.
Quantal!
Blue shouted as she tapped his force field and propelled him high into the air.
Alphen!
Red said as he brought down his hand in a swift smack that launched him towards the mech beast at tremendous speed.
Spike!
Alphen roared as he crashed into the machine. The force from his impact launched Black Layer clear from the cockpit, knocked it into the other mech beasts still in standby mode, and made them pile on top of each other. His shield dissipated after it withstood such an impact, and he found himself face to face with Zaytan amidst the smoke.
Finally, a chance to talk to you. Will you listen to me for a second? You know, fairy to fairy. Alphen!
Zaytan roared and ran forward as he smacked him with his paws repeatedly, though he failed to cause any damage with any of his strikes.
How dare you foil my plan! You will pay for this! You'll pay!
Alphen swatted at him right back in what would surely be a hilarious display.
Ow! 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 Would you ow? Knock it off already!
Zaytan scoffed as they finally ceased their swats at one another.
I'm not a Quantal Fairy like you. I'm a creature of darkness. So dramatic.
Alphen sighed.
We don't have to be enemies. We don't want to fight you.
The dark-furred robotic bunny crossed his arms and rolled his eyes.
You don't? You haven't even defeated us yet, and you're already giving your victory lecture. It's not like that.
Alphen shook his head gently.
Zaytan, you're not a bad person. I know that. You just want to make a name for yourself, and for people to know who you are, right?
Zaytan looked away and nodded slowly.
That's right. It's not fun always being in the shadows of people you look look similar to.
He quickly stammered. Alphen shook his head.
I don't want you to be treated that way either. You're your own person, Zaytan, and you should be appreciated for those differences.
Alphen's adversary looked at him, and for the first time, Zaytan's eyes reflected a sense of uncertainty.
No, you must be trying to trick me or something. What? You've never said any of these things to me before. It has to be a trick of some kind. It has to. That's because I never had a chance to say all this before.
With a sigh, the white-furred bunny took his paws and placed them around the paw of his black-furred counterpart.
I'm not trying to trick you. I mean everything I'm saying. I don't want us to keep fighting each other like this.
Zaytan looked at him surprised, then smiled as he looked into Alphen's eyes.
I don't either.
However, his earnest smile turned into a mischievous smirk as he tossed aside the white bunny's paws, pointed a claw at him, and added,
I still want to defeat you, though.
Alphen rolled his eyes, though he could not hold back a slight chuckle.
If that's what it takes for you to feel better, then hurry up and defeat me.
With those words, he wrapped his arms around Zaytan and pulled him into a tight hug.
Come on, I'm giving you the perfect chance. No. Why not? Maybe you enjoy the feeling of a hug. What? No, I want to defeat you at your best, not because you surrender to me. You're so stubborn. But that's part of what makes you so special.
Zaytan paused in disbelief.
You think I'm special?
Alphen nodded happily and without hesitation.
Of course I do.
The black-furred bunny clearly did not even know how to respond to those words.
You're just as special as anyone I know. As special as any of us. That's why I want us to be on the same side. That's why I want you to be my friend.
Zaytan looked away from him, unable to meet his gaze any longer.
I appreciate that, Alphen. I really do. But I think maybe Blacklair and I just have a lot of things to work on before we can just be friends. So what are you saying?
Alphen asked worriedly. Zaytan smirked.
Who knows? Maybe Blacklair and I will come back with a mech beast of our own to challenge you all with. You still want to fight us? I still want to defeat you, too. I've been trying too long to just give up. But
he looked away, though he still smiled as he added,
maybe, if we're defeated even then, it would be time to admit that we could only defeat you with a truly stronger power. Like friendship.
He grinned as he pointed at Alphen and flicked his metal tail.
However, until then, you and I remain rivals.
He backed away slowly and raised his paws toward the sky dramatically.
Our next battle shall be the most climactic ever. Your toughest fight yet. Our fiercest determination. Only the victors will claim the title of the mightiest Super Quantal team.
Alphen nodded and met his challenge with determination.
You're on, Zaytan.
The black-furred bunny chuckled with hands on his hips.
That's what I wanted to hear. I'll see you again, Alphen. Until then.
Suddenly, Zaytan pulled out a glyph from the storage slot in his wing armor.
Megamorph! Make my Blacklair grow!
Alphen looked back at his team in the distance with panic, most of whom were already exhausted.
Ay, 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 ay!
Zaytan laughed maniacally.
That's right, Alphen! Cower! Cower in the shadow of my big black lair! You can't just say it like that!
Alphen stammered as he shook his head and tried his hardest to think clearly.
That's it! White lair!
He shouted as loud as he could.
The Magna Carrier is still in standby!
Whitelair nodded and called out,
Shine through darkness! Luster Rex!
The other three layers each hurried to their mech beasts as Blacklayer grew to a tremendous size. Redlayer called out over the comms.
Alphen, we need...
Right! Mech King power authorized! Super Quantal Union Magna Formation!
The three mech beasts merged together. Magna Liger leapt high into the air, and its arms and legs folded close to its body. Grampulse's brace detached and joined Magna Liger's waist as the two orcas unfolded into great legs that attached to the back legs of the mech beast of fire. Ouroboros split into three parts and attached its wings to the back of Magna Liger. The legs retracted, while the head and tail both folded back to expose hands as they attached themselves to the front shoulders. Then the Magna Liger's head folded down to form a chest plate as the head of the great Magnus presented itself in its place at last. Its eyes shone bright as it activated, and it landed on the ground as one complete, massive machine. Finally, the team triumphantly called out in unison,
Super Quantal Mech King Great Magnus, ready for battle!
Blacklayer, who was now only slightly smaller than their mech king, merely laughed as he raised his bladed pistol.
Unarmed as you are, your Mech King is no match for me.
Who said they were unarmed? Whitelayer retorted as he leapt into the air. His Luster Rex crashed into the ground just under him as he landed in the cockpit gracefully.
Take this!
He called as his mech beast swung its head around and tossed a massive sword hilt to the mech king. The machine conglomeration caught it in the maw of Ouroboros expertly, and Redlayer ordered,
Everyone, power up the Magnus Slayer! Fire red!
Water blue! Wind green!
The sword let out a chime before it activated, and three great energy blades, one of each color, emerged from its handle. The mech king swung the sword valiantly as it took the handle in both hands now, and the layers spoke in unison.
Feel the power of the Magnus Slayer!
With one swift blow of the Magnus Slayer, Black Lair was defeated, blasted off his feet, and back down to normal size. As he rolled across the ground, Zaytan hopped to his side and readied a flash bomb.
You haven't seen the last of us, Layers. You may have defeated us this time, but we'll be back, and we'll be more powerful than ever.
He threw the flash bomb down and disappeared in the small flashing mist it created, though his laughter echoed far and wide. Alphen scratched his head nervously.
Yeah, completely off my sensors. I've got to find out how he does that someday.
Back aboard the Magna Carrier, the Super Quantal team celebrated their victory. As they cheered and congratulated one another, Alphen received a transmission directly.
What's that?
He wondered.
Only a few know how to contact me directly.
He flicked his ear and tapped the back of his paw nervously as he displayed the message.
Oh, it's a recording from Zaytan,
he thought excitedly.
What you said to me today was really nice. However, if you think that means I'm not going to attack you with everything I've got next time, you will rue the day you underestimated me. Do you understand me? You will rue the day. You'll see me again soon, and when you do, I'll say thanks. But I'm also, more importantly, going to kick your butt. See you later.
Zaytan, Alphen chuckled to himself.
I'm looking forward to it.
The end.
Hello, viewers. It's me, Super Quantal Fairy Alphen.
And me, Super Quantal Fairy Zaytan.
You're watching Plus Infinite. Subscribe for more Super Quantum content.
Subscribe or else.
Ay, 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 ay.